Hey guys, Ernie here, and welcome to the Paleo Hiker MD channel. Look at that, look at that. Today we're going to continue our MRE series. We're doing this once or twice a month now. We went through all 24 of the current MRE menus. You can see a playlist down below if you want to check those out. We've moved into foreign MREs and into today's MRE. Today we're looking at a US cold weather MRE, menu number 2, beef stroganoff with noodles. Stay tuned, let's check it out. Here is the menu number 2, meal cold weather. Last one did not have a production code, so I'm guessing this one probably does not either. Yep, I don't see it, so let's open it up. This is from the Wernick Company. Let's see what we got. Uh-oh. Oh man, we got a tear. Ugh, excuse me. There we go. Kind of less fun. Anyway. Main course, here we go, beef stroganoff with noodles. Of course, this is vacuum sealed, basically a Mountain House meal. Cranberries sliced, interesting, probably just like craisins, I imagine, something like that. We have a chocolate sports bar. We've got a nut raisin mix. Cherry flavored beverage, it says no fruit, just cherry flavored beverage. We've got our MRE spoon. Let's take a look inside of our accessory pack. We've got coffee creamer, which means we must have coffee, and here it is. Coffee Instant Type 3. We've got sugar, we've got Tabasco, MRE matches, you guys can see that over here. Toilet paper, moist towelette, and gum. This is what you get here in meal number 2, cold weather. Again, a pretty basic meal. So the first thing we're gonna do is get some water into our dehydrated meal, get our drinks going, and get everything out onto a tray. All right, we've got our main meal hydrating, so let's take a look at this. This is the Beverage Base Powder Cherry. I've never had this, so that's kind of neat. Always fun to get something new. This calls for 12 ounces of cold water, which is what I have measured out right here in my Pathfinder school cup. So let's get this in here. We're gonna pour it in, mix it up, and put it right back into this cup. Man, they do not give you much room, folks. Oh, there's still quite a bit in here that's not dissolved. That was almost disastrous. All right, perfect. Now we have basically nothing at the bottom. So there is our cherry flavored drink. We'll get our little GSI cup here, put in our coffee, creamer, 6 ounces of water. We've got coffee and we've got cherry drink. Let's get our food out onto the tray as we wait for the beef stroganoff to rehydrate. Let's start with our raisin nut mix. This should be pretty straightforward, huh? Raisins and nuts, smells nice and fresh. Let's see how we look. You know what, guys? I've got this backwards, hold on. There we go. We gotta keep with the program, you know? Lots of nuts, not a lot of raisins, but there are hazelnuts, peanuts, some walnuts, so a variety of nuts. It's kind of nice. This is the chocolate sports bar. I've never had this. We've had chocolate First Strike bars, but not a sports bar. Let's see what this looks like. There we go. Kind of looks somewhat similar to a First Strike bar. Smells somewhat similar. We'll put that right here. And we've got cranberry slice. Let's see what it says. Cranberry sugar and sunflower oil. So I would assume these are just cut up craisins. There are a bunch in here, so you better like you some cranberries. Woo, look at that. Like I said, you better like you some craisins because that's a lot of craisins. Okay, so let's see what we got. As y'all can see, this MREs and these cold weather MREs so far, this is the second one, they're somewhat meager, but that's because they give you so much in the main dish. Feels pretty good. Let's pour this out for you guys. You'll see just how much food you get. It's pretty amazing, actually. Whoa. It's almost coming out. That's crazy, look at that. It's gonna spill out the side. Whew. Very well rehydrated though. Not overly soupy. That is a serious amount of food, as you can see. We're gonna start off with our drinks as usual. This is the cherry beverage base. I've never had it, which is great. I always like trying stuff that's new. Let's see. That's kind of a weird flavor. It's yeah, just very artificial tasting. It's okay. It's refreshing, but it's not the best thing in the world. Let's try our coffee. Again, this is Coffee Instant Type 3. Yeah, It's just not good. I don't know what to say. I'm sure when you're cold and you're tired, a nice cup of coffee will work, but not very good. Let's start with our nuts. We'll just try a couple just to see if they're nice and fresh. Peanut, really fresh. I love hazelnuts. That's good. Peanuts and a raisin. You know, so good. It's nice that they're so fresh tasting, so good. Let's try the craisins. I'm not a big fan of craisins. I can tell you that I would probably combine the craisins with the nuts. So sweet. That's what I don't like about them. They're just so sweet. You know, they taste exactly what you expect a sugary cranberry to be. Let's look at this bad boy. Kind of looks like a mushed up Nestle's Crunch. Looks like it's got some crunch inside of it. I don't tend to be a fan of these bars. Oh, hey. Whoa, it's hard. Yeah, not nearly as good as the first strike bar, but not terrible. I would eat that. Initially, you're a little bit, it's really strong. It's really firm. It's not very cold in here. It's just really firm. No, not too bad. Better than I thought it would be. All right, let's go to the main event here. This is basically a Mountain House beef stroganoff, which I've had before and I like. It's got small noodles. I'm not sure about the beef. It looks pretty random. Let's give it a try. Oh man. I mean, if you were cold and you had this for dinner, you would be such a happy camper. Lots of sauce to it. Still extremely well rehydrated. I could eat this whole thing. It does come with salt. I think putting the salt on there would be good. The Tabasco you could put, but I don't think I would like the beef stroganoff spicy. I think it's good just the way it is, nice and savory. But definitely putting some salt would help. That is good. That cherry is weird. All right, I'm gonna eat a little bit more beef stroganoff, and then we're gonna talk about this thing and give it a rating. So that's a look at meal cold weather menu number 2, beef stroganoff with noodles. These cold weather MREs tend to be a little bit scant. The main meal has so much volume that it's one of those things I think you could use a lot of the extras as like snacks during the day and then just gorge on that huge amount of beef stroganoff. Really good. As with all of our MREs, we're gonna give this menu a rating. We're gonna give it a rating from 1 to 10. 1 is food that I would hesitate to feed to my dogs. 5 is food that's tolerable, but I wouldn't necessarily call enjoyable. And a 10, of course, is food that I would eat any day of the week, no questions asked. It's that good. We'll start with our drinks. The cherry drink is interesting. It's refreshing. I tend to really like these beverage bases, but when they come in that big sack, I think they tend to have more electrolytes and they don't taste as good as if you have just a little sleeve, like a little Crystal Light sleeve or something. This one tasted okay. It's got a little bit of a weird flavor. We're gonna give it a 7. I wouldn't be upset if I got it, but it's not really good. Coffee is what the coffee is. I think I've given it a 5 or a 6 almost every time, and it's not gonna change this time. 5 or a 6. It tastes like kind of dirty water. Got caffeine though, so that's a positive. Nuts were awesome. They are so fresh. It's nice also to not just have peanuts. A lot of times you just get peanuts and raisins. It said peanuts, walnuts, hazelnuts, even a little pieces of pecans. Really good. Doesn't have any almonds, which I don't think go as well with raisins. The raisins were fresh, the nuts were fresh. The nuts were a 9, really good. The craisins were fine, or the sliced cranberries, basically sugared cranberries. I don't tend to like them very much, and there's a bunch of them. I think you could eat them in probably 3 different settings, but if you needed a pick-me-up, some sugar or something like that, they would work just fine. We're gonna give them a 7. They might be a little low because I really don't like them, but they seem adequate. Chocolate energy bar is interesting. I tend to not like these very much, and maybe that's because I never eat them, because I've gotten several of them in these MREs and they're not that bad, so maybe I should rethink that. Maybe I do like them. Well, not like them, but I tolerate them. That's a better way to put it. This wasn't as good as the first strike bar. That tends to be a lot better. I tend to give that like an 8 or 9. I really think they're good. This is more like a 7, really middle of the road. It's a little bit firm. It does have a little bit of a dark, kind of odd flavor to it, but it's tolerable. And you know what? Ultimately, it's probably very filling. So we will give the chocolate protein bar a 7. These freeze-dried mains are huge, and you are not gonna go hungry if you get this beef stroganoff with noodles. I hydrated it for right at about 11 minutes. It called for 16 ounces of water, and I put right about 15. I tend to put just a little bit less, and it worked out perfect, really well hydrated. Noodles were perfect. None of them were underhydrated. None of them were firm at all. The meat looks a little funny, but when you eat it, it tastes just fine. The gravy is good. Like I said, I ended up adding some salt to it and it tasted a lot better, but they do give that to you. So if you don't like it as salty, you don't have to eat it. And if you do want a little saltier, you can add it like I did. I imagine myself in a cold weather environment. I'm in the snow, I'm on patrol, I'm doing something and it's just freezing. And I open up and I get this beef stroganoff and I'm starving. It's hot, it's like a soup and a stew and a spaghetti and all rolled into one. It's good. I'm gonna give the beef stroganoff a 9. It is really, really good. So overall, what are we looking at? Drinks, not really that stellar. Side dishes are pretty darn good, and the main dish is awesome. Overall, menu number 2, beef stroganoff with noodles, gets an 8. Do me a big favor, guys. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up down below. Really helps spread things across YouTube. I've done a lot of MRE videos, and I hope people start to watch a few more of the MRE videos. It's a very popular genre here on YouTube, and I'm really put a lot of effort into it, so hit the thumbs up. Maybe more people will watch these MRE videos. If you want to make sure you don't miss any videos, hit the subscription button. If you want to be absolutely sure that my videos show up on your feed, hit that ding dong bell. And as always, I truly appreciate you checking out the Paleo Hiker MD channel. Stay tuned for more videos soon.